Okay guys, there are 7 cards in Is Your Ex Coming Back spread. As you know, this is really meant for the people who actually want their exes to come back, or maybe even wondering what is going on in their head, because they sometimes use it for relationships, especially relationships that are on and off, and that way we find out. So these cards are called significators, meaning I picked them, and I picked them not to read them, but sort of like to read a category. Just think of them as a title on a beginning of the chapter. So altogether, they're sort of giving me the story, that entire book. I picked the first card, the Magician. In this category, not to go into details, if you order the spread, I'm going to explain in way more details what basically I meant behind this. But in short is, if this relationship was ever a go, are you swimming like up the stream and trying to make something live that really shouldn't be? Temperance card is here reversed for a reason, because upright temperance means, hey, I can glue anything, I can work on anything. So obviously this is talking about ungluing, and this is going to tell me what exactly you really need to repair in this relationship if this is ever to go. And this is if this category is really telling me, you know, green light. Then I have a Queen of Wands and Knight of Wands as significators. It could be either or. One can be you, one can be a partner that you are inquiring about. And this is the energy and the flow of information and the flow of thoughts in between the two. So now I see the Judgment, and this is like the biggie, because yeah, you know, that's that extra information. Okay, what was meant to be learned in this relationship? What lessons you have to absorb, right? Even if this is not meant to be, like, there are still lessons to do it, right? You know what they say, we meet somebody for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. And then lastly, we have 4 of Wands, and 4 of Wands is really talking about where is this heading. So this is a short and sweet explanation, and if you basically watch this first, now it is a good time to go back and see the entire reading. Love you. Hello Gemini, and welcome to your April-May Is Your Ex Coming Back. It usually runs mid of month till mid of month, but individually it can kind of like extend further. Again guys, if you haven't watched the introduction, go back. This is just for all of you newbies, but for the rest of us, let's just jump in. So we have the Seffi that kind of like joined us in the meantime. So let's see what I see over here, guys. First of all, you did have a few jumpers. You had 5 of Pentacles, and you had Queen of Swords. It could have been that you felt let down. It also could be the feeling that you feel that somebody just like pulled the plug, or the life pulled the plug on you, that somehow you don't feel any more absorbed or accepted, or, you know, even loved. But more or less, sometimes 5 of Pentacles really talks about the overall sense of feeling of being ill-adjusted. And it could be that something financially you want and you're wondering why I cannot get it, and the others, everybody has it, you know, kind of like that thing, and not me, and that sort of a thing. It could also mean that you really want to kind of like go toward some place, but it felt like that you're out of somebody's league or something like that. I have also see over here certain issues that, I mean, the Moon is always considered that kind of like really tricky card in tarot, and it's falling in your Temperance reversed. The Moon is not a great card, right? And there's like something here that is really talking about, like, we have the doggy, we have coyote, and this is talking about the conscious and subconscious. So what is the real solution? Should we go for doggy's opinion, and both of them are doing the same thing, barking at the moon? But look, the really path is just completely being sort of like out of water, kind of like really learning completely different thing. And I have to show you this pretty face that is really looking at you here. Seffi? Seffi? Did you say hi to Geminis? You're pretty poser girl. You're bringing them luck? Oh, pretty girl. She's such a pretty selfie. She's such a pretty selfie. Sorry, Geminis. Tiger just had an accident, so Tiger is back in his crate, but this one kind of like feels compelled to join us. So back to the moon. The moon generally talks about perception and about wrong perception. So something that really needs to happen, you need to shift how you think about things, how you perceive things. Something that you have put in your head is actually quite different. It looks like you're kind of like taking sort of like a little solitary stage. You're taking a solitary kind of like phase, maybe turning off the phone and like not interacting, which is unusual for Gemini, right? So just short month and a half, 2 months from now, it's your birthday, guys, so you're kind of like slowly going to ramp up. It almost looks to me that there is like overall lethargy that I'm feeling. It kind of like almost like, oh well, it's never going to happen to me, and why to even bother, why to even try. As far as X, it kind of like feels that both sides feel almost like devastated. In fact, it looks like you are less off it by pulling yourself into your own world, and your own world is like kind of like, everybody leave me kind of alone. I am not doing anything right now. I'm just sleepy. I'm just fatigued. I just like need to be left alone. As far as kind of like home life, it could be that you're kind of putting a happy face, that everything is fine, and you know very well it isn't. And sometimes being an air sign, you're able to convince yourself, I'm just fine. But when there's like this mismatch between I'm just fine or I'm lying to myself, sometimes like, I mean, crap happens. You really need to address that. This partner is clearly not willing to kind of come forward. They're also feeling that you're not extending some kind of like love branch, olive branch sort of speak to them. Look at it, they have like this 10 of swords, that like, I mean, really devastating card that really shows this kind of like being wounded. And maybe you have been dealing with a partner who didn't want to commit, or you didn't want to commit, and again, it was not meeting of the minds. Whenever, like, I mean, I see this kind of combination, I will tell you, one person kind of like had something set in their head, another person had another thing, and both of them are just kind of going their ways. And sometimes like almost like it makes you wonder how does like two people ever kind of get, how do we ever get along with this is kind of like really normal, right? But in this case, it was like just the ships in the dark going in a different direction. Now, this is a typical, the quote that I had from Victor Hugo in the beginning was really about reaching that light. It's like whether for the eye or for the soul. And just like the card represents, the eye is going to see the light. And so is the soul actually regenerated again, because we see it in the judgment segment over here, which is really, really good. The Lover's card is like your card. It's like your energy. It is like pretty much, hey, somebody finally pushed the on button. Like you kind of like felt kind of like, if you were a blow-up doll, then you had no air in it, right? So I'm not comparing it with a blow-up doll or blow-up beach ball. Or just like, let's have a better comparison, because I know I'm going to get 1,000,001 comments on this one. Well, you're welcome to comment. The Lover's card is really interesting card in tarot, and the Lover's card is really misnomer. I mean, it does show two people over here, right? And you see the Lovers and you're going, yay, and it's falling in the category where to go next. So certainly, yes, there is like something as a promise to you, but there is like also one thing that people forget, and I think everybody likes the name of the card, because this card really means choice. And what is it you choose? You see, all these major arcanas are this kind of like fool's journey, and at this stage the fool, which is like Adam, I guess, if you wish, he comes to this beautiful woman and he's saying to the angel, to God, whichever way you want to say it, I'm not leaving, I'm just fine right here where I am. But the angel is saying, look, it's not going to be fulfilling. You're still having quite a bit of your journey to go. It's interestingly, this is the story. Like, I mean, of course, the solution would be, why can't we go together? But that's the choice that has to be made, because this woman is tending the Garden of Eden and everything, right? So it is all about passion. Look at their hands are extended. This is kind of like showing a full trust. The angel is saying, like, you really need to go. There is like a mountain. You need to cross this mountain. Like, there are like so many stages from 7 to basically 21 to continue and learn, and then you can come back, right? So in this particular stage, there is like possibly a decision, and maybe even a decision that you are making, decision that what is important to you, how do you really want to go about that, what kind of people you really want to bring in. Because another card that popped out during my shuffling was Queen of Swords, which is also air, like the Lover's card. And again, people forget, they always say the air signs are like all difficult and blah blah blah. Well, we definitely are for them, but the Lover's card falls in the air. And why is that? Because love is the product of the mind, not so much of the heart, right? And that's where everything happens. That's where this kind of like confusion happens as well. So Queen of Swords that you pulled before with Lovers together would maybe mean that you need to make a logical decision. Does this make sense or it doesn't make sense, right? Do you really kind of like want to leave? Do you really want to go and stay? Do you really want to try it one more time? That sort of things. Now, I'm also seeing there could be a whole bunch of people around here. And court cards are not necessarily people, but look at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 just in this row, and then we have a 5. They also show the attitudes that these people exhibit, right? And these attitudes could be something we kind of like pull in that moment or not. The Queen of Pentacles, and again, talks about the commitment. It talks about, in the Temperance category, as a lack of commitment. Or it also can talk about it was somebody else in the story, and somebody else who was important, whether this is a wife or mother or father of the children, right? You also wanted to be this beautiful Empress, and Empress is basically the womanly woman, and she's like representing all feminine. Like, you know, if we have this yin and yang thing, she would be like that yin without the real circle energy, just completely, you know, passive energy. But she's also life energy. So this is kind of like the story in tarot, so that kind of like passive energy actually brings life, because life is supposed to flow as a river without kind of like structure, without too much structure. And yet there is passive, and Queen of Pentacles is also the closest to the Empress. This also can be a very creative energy. It simply could be something that has been given to you as a gift, right? And King of Swords is like something that actually can be a legal thing. It could be just reaching a decision. It could be a judge, could be a jury, could be simply, you know, you saying this is for the best. Air signs think like that, right? Other people, oh my gosh, my heart is hurting and I cannot breathe. I cannot live without this person. And no, I don't care. I know he's not good for me. I know he's cheating on me. I really want him. I really want him. Everything is going to change. And then they get it and it feels like a fix. That's not love. That's codependency, right? Air signs don't think like that. Air signs go, oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Oh my, ouch, ouch, ouch. I am not going to survive. But then air signs grit their teeth and say, you know what hurts more? Is I'm putting myself down, and this makes no sense. Because I'm seeing here something as a standstill, especially if you have been with somebody who you hoped for family, for things going on. There is like something, if you're inquiring about this partner, at least I can tell you there's like something going on in their life that could be a strife, that could be a kind of like battle of the wills, that could be simply setting boundaries. Maybe they're kind of like having like, this is the line in the sand, because look at that, they kind of like almost like feel immobilized. They keep dealing with some issues. If you're asking me if they care for you, I will say clearly yes. It's not much question there, right? They actually on some level definitely want to come back to you. I can see that. It almost like sounds to me that the partner walk away from you, and I think they did it because somehow you pushed them. You either drove them crazy with your jealousy, or you drove them crazy with expectations. And I'm not saying that your expectations or jealousy was not properly put in place, but they have been in a situation that they couldn't tolerate that. So maybe you knew about the situation, maybe you didn't know about their situation, but this is what has been happening. I feel also that they are like actually going to kind of, if you don't know the full situation, you're going to find out. They're going to tell you all about it. That could be, if nothing else, them coming back for closure. They're coming back to give you that information, because look at that. This is like basically, you know how I said the love comes from the head and then sinks in the heart, sinks in like in Two of Cups. It's right here. Interestingly enough, we started with the Two of Wands. Now we have Three of Wands. Mother and a daughter. Is there a family unit over here? Mother, daughter, and the Fool. Are you feeling foolish on some kind of like level? You're feeling foolish, but you're also feeling, oh my God, this is my soulmate. But they're like turning their back. As I said, it's going to, if they come back, it's going to be like a revolving door. They'll come in and they'll come out. I really feel that you're dealing with somebody who is committed otherwise, who's committed elsewhere, who maybe feel miserable where they are. It doesn't really indicate to me that anything in their life makes them super happy. They are bound by rules and they feel they need to untangle the kind of like yarn that seems to be sticking together, right? And but you are also moving on. It is like almost like meeting of the minds, just like as initially it wasn't. Like by the end of this time, you're going to be focused on you and your family and what you want. You're going to realize how much of that was foolish, and you're going to simply realize, well, there are like still issues I need to work on, but it is like time to move on. Because look at the sword in your category, guys. You're clearly in a thinking mode, and this is all positive. You're going from full relaxation, maybe you need a week to sleep and turn off the phone and not to be active, to completely kind of like reach this decision and then to be able to move on. And this to me is like ultimately bridge over troubled waters kind of card. And both of you are moving on, because look at that, we have both of you turning back to it. And the Knight of Wands is coming through here, interestingly, but that's, as I told you, you know that possibly this person and you can be together, but under conditions which you really don't want. There is like clearly the word, I keep seeing this freaking word flashing. So that's recently what I was starting to do. I'm going nuts. And that word is saying engagement, 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 right? There is like a commitment somewhere here. And I'm trying to figure it out, why is this happening? So there's like some kind of commitment here, or lack of commitment. So almost person wants to commit with one person and doesn't want to commit with another person. It also could be that they consider you perfect woman, perfect man, and the another person, they consider, well, this is my obligation. And that's the choice. It's a very hard choice to make. So my dear Gemini, that's what I see for this time frame. You never know, things might change. Also, you know, this is a general reading. This doesn't have to be you. This is still on special, so look me up on my website, cattarot.ca. And if even a part of it resonated, don't expect everything resonates in the general reading, but even if a part of it resonated, please click on that subscribe button, because that means it was calling for you to hear it, and it will be good for you to kind of follow through on that and hear the other readings, so hence you'll be notified. Thank you guys very much for sitting through this. I would love to hear your comments. And until next time, you know that I love you. Bye.